to get what you want and get who you are. I'm Junior for Here For You Life Coaching. Good morning. And we're on 7 different platforms internationally this morning. We'd like to say good morning to all of you. Good morning, Maria. Good morning. And so we're going to talk about universal laws today, also the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious, and why this works for you and how to make it work for you. So people talk about manifestation all the time. You hear manifestation in a magical sense. You hear manifestation in a sense that, well, it's kind of like a magical spiritual thing that happens. It kind of is in a sense, okay, but it's your subconscious. Don't let people fool you. Okay, so I'm here to dispel a lot of rumors. I'm also here to dispel a lot of mysticism because it's not so mystic. Okay, it's in the Holy Bible, it's in the Quran, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, it's in the Torah, it's in every holy book because it is part of how the human being is designed. That's all. It's just the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Now, the superconscious on that end, we can align that with God. Okay, so the superconscious, I'm not going to, whenever I get into the God thing, everybody has their own beliefs. So I'm going to say superconscious when we refer to that. So there is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. Okay, now when you address things like that, then you go, okay, well, how does manifestation happen? Well, first, you install the program, you install the belief. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. This is why intense focus, right, brings things into the physical world because of the first universal law of divine oneness. Okay, that says everything is connected energetically through energy. Everything is energy. So there's energy in the blades of grass. There's energy in everything. There's energy in the trees. The trees communicate with each other, but they communicate with each other through the roots. Okay, they don't talk. But you can talk to your trees. You can talk to the plants. People used to do that. They used to talk to their plants and then their plants are healthier. Why is that? It's because of vibration. Plants pick up vibration. So all of these things are possible now through technology. We're discovering that plants not only receive frequency, but they give frequency. Okay? All of these things happen. The universe is intelligent. The entire universe is intelligent. So it's not just, the fact that you're a human, like you're above everything. No, you're connected to everything. You're connected to everything. You're not an independent, an independent unit just walking around in a meat suit on the planet. You're more special than that. And that's what I'm here to talk about today, okay? So now, manifestation is your subconscious. When you establish a belief in your subconscious, right, thoughts become things. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. How is that? Well, when you keep thinking a thought, your subconscious will give you supporting actions to that thought. The superconscious, or God, will give you intuitive thought towards whatever the topic is, whatever the belief is. So if you believe, let's say, for example, you're a good person, now you're going to get confirmation that you're a good person. If you believe you're a bad person, guess what? You're going to get confirmation that you're a bad person. So you can have, do, or be anything. Anything. When I was a kid, I was 12 years old, and I was fantasizing about all these things I was going to do in life, right? And of course, some people were like, oh, okay, you're going to do that? And some people told me, well, yeah, you're crazy. And then some people said, they were kind of like neutral. They were kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. They didn't care. So you're going to find in your life that 1/3 of the people support you. 1/3 of the people are against you for some reason, okay? But you need haters. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. And then 1/3 of the people don't care. They don't care. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to gravitate towards the people that care. Okay, because the people that don't care, they don't matter. Okay, and you need haters. Okay, you need haters. On the professional level, I will tell you, from the professional standpoint, you need haters. Because if you don't have haters, you're doing it wrong. If no one is envious of you, okay, you're doing it wrong. If no one is looking at you going, I want to be like that, or let's prevent him from doing whatever because he's, okay, that means you're doing it good. Okay, that means you're doing well. Now, if you're manifesting something, okay, let's use another word, goal setting. Okay, nobody likes that term. They like manifest because it sounds mystical. But if you say goal setting, right, now they associate that with work. And that's why I don't mention mental discipline. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, lady. Good morning. Thanks for coming back. Hi, Mary. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Thunder Business. So the reason why I don't use mental discipline is because that suggests work. Okay, but what is discipline? Let's look at it. What is it really? It's doing something whether you want to or not. It's getting into the habit of doing something whether you want to or not. Now, I had to do a lot of things in business. I have several companies. I had to do things that I didn't want to do. I had to set schedules. Okay, so, like time management, for example. And I set my calendar. Every single hour there was something specific to do. And there were breaks within that structure. And as a life coach, I teach that to my clients. My clients are doctors, attorneys. I have business people. Those kinds of people are my clients. This is my community service right here. Okay, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. I have nothing to sell you. Okay, I'm just here so that you know that manifestation is possible for anyone. It's through your subconscious. It's not magic. It's not witchcraft. It's not voodoo. It's not. Sorry. It's really not. Okay, you're designed like this. So let's say, for example, you use one of these. Okay. Now the mental discipline part is repetition. Okay, the key is repetition. Your subconscious learns in repetition. Okay, so what are you gonna do? Well, let's say you want to be confident, okay? Now, confident is clarity. Confidence is clarity. That's when you're clear here, okay? So you're not thinking negative thoughts. You're not thinking scary thoughts. You're not thinking about like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the month. Like, are they going to cut off my phone bill because I don't have money or I didn't pay the bill or whatever? That kind of stuff doesn't happen, okay? Not when you're clear. When you're clear, when you have clarity, it's called confidence. So write it. I am so happy and grateful. Okay, you have to express gratitude. And you have to be in a good mood when you do it, okay? Don't be angry and trying to do an affirmation. It's not going to work. It doesn't go in your subconscious that way. It will, but it will go in an angry way, and you don't want that. Trust me. Okay, so I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. There you go. Like that, okay? Now, you're going to have to write that every single day for, in 14 days. You will feel a shift in 14 days. In 30 days, it will be more significant. In 63 days, it will become a habit. Can you do it every day for 63 days? So let me show you, just so you know what it is. Okay, this is my new one. Okay, and this is the one I saved for you guys. I have tons of these in storage. I have about like 13 of these in storage. Now these are affirmations. You see the dates over here? These are affirmations, okay? It's not journaling. What's the difference? Okay, so when you journal, when people journal, they have a habit of writing down what happened. You remember what happened. Why do you need to write what happened? When you write what happened, you're bringing that memory into today. You're manifesting that into today. So, a good thing in business, if you're in business, is to write down your successes, okay, but not your problems. You don't want to write your problems down and bring it into today. Why? People do that all the time. Because when they wake up in the morning, right, they remember what they did not resolve, what's still a problem, and they bring it into today. And they think about it. And then they take it into tomorrow. Okay, and these things become beliefs because thoughts become things. Okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking. When you keep thinking the thought, it becomes a belief. Then what happens? Well, let's look at the tree, the roots of the tree, okay? Subconscious beliefs. Okay, those are your core fundamental beliefs, the things you believe to be true. That shapes your paradigm. Okay, so your paradigm is the way you see the world, your perception. Okay, it also forms your attitude. Okay, based upon what you believe, how you see the world. Now, the fruits of the tree up here, right? These are your actions. You will know them by their fruits. Okay, you've heard that before. Okay, so now you will know them by their fruits, you will know them by their actions. Why? Because actions speak louder than words, right? Anybody can talk. Now, here's what women are really good at, they're good at spotting congruency because they're hardwired for survival. Okay, so if you're talking, say you're saying something to a woman, a female, okay, if your body language does not match what you're saying, she'll know. Like automatic, like that. Women can spot the creep across the room. Easy, just like that. Vibration, it's vibrational. Okay. But it's instinct because they're engineered to be mama bears. That's why. Okay, they're engineered to bear young. And they have to guard their young. They have to watch their young. Okay. So anyway, so that's biology. Now, when you get back to the subconscious, right? Conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Okay, when you have a belief in the subconscious, the roots, okay, it dictates how you see the world. That dictates how you act, and how you act, your actions, dictate your results. So you can't have bad results if you put forth good actions. It's impossible. It doesn't happen. So now there's the law of correspondence, which is the third universal law. This tells us that everything out here, everything you do, everything you've done out here, is a reflection of what's in here. So take a look at your bedroom. Is it messy? Or is everything in its place? Take a look at your house. Take a look at your car. Take a look at your desk. It's very easy to see what people are about if you are a trained observer. How do you become a trained observer? Study body language. Study universal laws. Okay, it's a reflection. Everything in the universe reflects each other. Okay, it's a reflection. So when I was young, right? When I was young, my parents used to tell me, you better be careful how you act out there because you're a reflection on your parents. And when I got older, I realized that that wasn't true. You're not a reflection on your parents. You're a reflection of your parents because you are part each parent. Okay, so when you look at the children, you understand the parents. Okay, when you understand the fruits of the tree, you understand the roots of the tree. When you see the actions of someone, you understand how they believe. It's that simple. So how do you change beliefs so that you can change the way you see the world, so that you can change the actions that you produce to change the results that you get? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Does it work all the time? Every time, every single time. But it takes persistence. Now, that's what people are not good at. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they get distracted. So mental discipline, right? I hardly use that term. I've been using it lately, the last few days. But mental discipline just says that I'm going to do this whether I want to or not. This morning I did a 45-minute meditation at 1:30 in the morning. I get up early, and then I go do 3 miles at the beach, and then I come back, and I start work. But this morning in my meditation, right, it was a deep meditation. Normally I do 10 minutes. Okay, this morning I did 45. And the reason I'm telling you this is because after I did 45 minutes, right, like my entire body felt lighter than it is, like way lighter. Okay. So if you really want to, like, let a lot of things go, let a lot of things out, okay? Do 10 minutes, easy, okay? It's not easy when you first start, okay? It's easy for me because I've been doing it for years, okay? But start out at 5 minutes, okay? Remember, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. Okay, so the affirmation, remember? I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. Because confidence is clarity. Okay, I can tell you what confidence is not. Confidence is not overthinking. If you're overthinking, you're not being confident. Confidence is not fear. Confidence and fear cannot live in the same place. Okay? If you're angry, you're not being confident. Okay? If you're angry, whoever made you angry is controlling you. Okay? Yesterday we were talking about the controller, the game controller, right? And if you're pleasing someone, if you're being a people pleaser, that means you're taking your controls, right? That gaming control, and you're giving it to that person, and now they control you. Now they're controlling you because you care what they think. So I'm here to tell you that I've been in many situations in my life where there were gatekeepers that I thought, like, okay, I needed these guys, right? And in a way, I kind of did, but I didn't have to go through them. Okay? I was in the game, but I wasn't of the game. And you can be in the world and not of the world. Christians say that all the time. You can be in the world, but not of the world. Okay, now I'm not here to tell you what to believe or how to believe. But I can tell you that there is the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. The superconscious is the God part, okay? That's the consciousness part. That's the source part. That's the creator part, okay? So however you believe, right, that creator part is the right side. John 21:6, right? We were talking about that scripture the other day. And Jesus tells his apostles, he appears to the apostles, he says, cast your net to the right side. What is he talking about? Esoterically, it talks about the right hemisphere of the brain because Jesus lives on the right side. He sits at the right side of the Father. So when they were casting their net to the left side, there was no fish. So Jesus said, cast your net to the right side. So when they cast their net to the right side, what happened? They couldn't even pull it in the boat. There was too many fish. Abundance, that's what it's telling you. But if you're a one-book learner, you're going to miss that. You're going to think it's a story. When you study esoteric knowledge and you go, oh, I get it. Okay, I see. It's about in here. The Bible's talking about everything in here. Don't believe the heaven and hell stuff. I can tell you what heaven is and I can tell you what hell is. I've been through hell. I've been there. Okay? Hell is your subconscious. You know, when you get tormented with those thoughts, when you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over. You know, one example is the career criminal, right? They do something, they go to jail, they get out. Before you know it, they're back in jail. They get out. Before you know it, they're back in jail. Or they get arrested and they get let out and they get arrested again. It's subconscious. They don't know how to change their subconscious. So first, the affirmation, okay? Where's my pen? Here. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Thank you. Now the meditation, sit still for 5 minutes. Can you do 5 minutes? With your eyes closed? Here's the hard part, right? The hard part is that Your mind tells you, right? Oh, I could be washing dishes. I could be doing laundry. I could be catching up with this. I could be working. I could be doing the yard. I could be mowing the lawn. I could be pulling weeds. I could be, right? So you get up and do it. You have to treat it like you're training a puppy and just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to sit still no matter what. I'm going to be still. And then you be still. 5 minutes. When you can do 5, then you can do 10. Okay? Try 5 first. Do 5, go for 8. 8, go to 10. You just need 10 minutes a day. Now, what are you going to do in your meditation? Well, you can do a couple of things. The first thing you can do is ask. Ask. Okay, because the formula is ask, believe, receive. In the Bible, it's in Mark 11:24. Okay, ask, believe, receive. This is not about church. I'm just saying for my Christian, I have a lot of Christian followers. Okay, this is not about church. Don't get me started on 501c3 churches. Okay, they're businesses. They are corporations. Okay, different. All right, so ask, believe, receive. It's in every holy book. It's not just in the Bible. It's in the Talmud. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. It's in the Quran. It's how human beings are designed. The magic is here. If you want to see a miracle, go into your bathroom. Hopefully there's light in there. Turn it on. Look in the mirror. There's your miracle. You can make anything happen. But you have to be persistent. So, ask in your meditation. Ask for confidence. You've already expressed it, right? With your affirmation. Now it's meditation. Ask. And be still and listen. A lot of people pray. Okay, praying is speaking to God, asking. Not too many people listen. Meditation is listening. What are you listening for? Are you listening for the voice of God? No, it's more like a feeling. Okay, but that's what you feel. That's intuitive thought. You need to follow intuitive thought. Okay, I was telling the story the other day, a couple days ago. I was telling the story about my consulting company and how I built it. The how is always God's job. I didn't know how. I just said, okay, well, we're going to build it. And the first client was a national chain of stores. First client, a lot of pressure. What helped ease the pressure? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay, so we got the meditation down, right? Okay, what's the vocalization? You need to speak it out loud. There was an old expression. It said, speak the dream. Speak the dream. So how do you speak the dream? Well, just read your affirmation out loud for one thing. And talk about it. Not to other people, to yourself when you're in your car. So the subconscious responds to two things overall. Two things more than anything else. Number one, your image or visuals. Okay, number two, sound or your voice. It recognizes your image over everyone else. It recognizes your voice over everyone else. Your subconscious is not just a state of awareness. Your subconscious is the culmination of all of your senses. Everything you touch, everything you see, everything you smell, all of them. All of your senses. So speak your affirmation out loud. When I first get my clients in, my clients are like professional people. So I do a lot of business stuff. But when they come in, even them, I have them do 100 positive I ams about themselves. So try that. Okay? You'll feel better. Write 100 positive I ams. I am helpful. I am courteous. I am generous. Right? Everything good about I am smart. I am, right? I am. write those things down. Now, don't type it in your phone. You need to write it with a pen. This is why they say the pen is mightier than the sword. They say that because when you write with a pen, it goes into your subconscious. The formula for memorization is write it once, speak it 3 times out loud. And when you do that, you'll memorize things faster. Okay? Now, when you're doing this speaking the dream thing, okay, speak a lot of I ams. A lot of people have a problem with that because they go, well, I'm not a dentist yet. I'm still in dental school. Well, speak the dream. Speak the dream. I am a dentist. Go ahead. Okay. Because when you do that, right, you're enforcing that idea into the subconscious. Now, there's such a thing as acting as if. Acting as if means, okay, so I had this client. Let me tell you the story. So I had this client, okay, and he was in the insurance business. He wanted to work at this insurance company. And so I told him, well, if you want the job at the company, you need to act as if. He said, what does that mean? I said, you have to get up early, get dressed, grab your briefcase or whatever you carry, right? Go down to that building. Absorb the ambiance of the building as if you are working there already. It's like a dress rehearsal, but it's for your subconscious. Touch the marble. Look at the directory. Go up to the floor. If you can't go up to the floor, hang out in the lobby for a little while and then go home. Well, the good news is he ended up working for the company. The bad news is he didn't get the position that he wanted right away. And he's still at the company, so I don't know. I haven't kept up with him, but it works. Why does it work? How does it work? It works through your subconscious. When you give your subconscious a belief, okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking, your subconscious will start confirming these things to you. You have something called a reticular activating system in your brain stem. It starts filtering out things you're not focused on. So what does that mean? That means it shows you what you're focused on. It's that phenomena. It's not really a phenomenon, but they call it a phenomenon. When you're interested, let's say, in a red sports car, and then you start seeing red sports cars all over the place, that's your reticular activating system. It's helping you manifest because it's showing you what you're focused on instead of what you're not. It makes it stick out. What else happens? Well, the superconscious, or God, if you want to put it that way, consciousness, okay, whatever label you want to place on that, starts giving you intuitive thought regarding the subject, which could be red sports car. And the thoughts might be, well, maybe I should get a loan. Maybe I should go test drive the car. Maybe I should go down to the car lot and see if it's affordable. Maybe I should, right? Okay, so these are variable thoughts that you get concerning the subject. But this is not rocket science. This is very simple. But it requires repetition. I like to use the word repetition better than discipline because a lot of people don't like discipline. It just means that you do it whether you want to or not. Now, if you do this for 63 days, I guarantee you, boom, there you go. Okay. So take notes. We're going to give you a lot of good notes. So the law of vibration tells us that nothing is static in the universe. Everything is energy, and everything vibrates, everything moves, everything evolves. Which is why I'm not doing the same thing all the time. A lot of people ask me like, "Oh, uncle, how come you left entertainment? How come you moved on from that? You're just teaching now." And I go, "Well, I'm doing a few things. Teaching's one of them, but yeah." So as things evolve, you need to evolve with it. And you see this a lot, right? Some people are willing to evolve. Some people are willing to change with the times. Some people are willing to catch up, to keep up, right? And some people are not. They're happy the way they are and they stay that way. And that's okay because everybody's different. Now, if everybody had the same goals, right? If everybody wanted a new car, there'd be no cars out there. Every person's idea of success is different. My friend owned all the Jack in the Boxes and Jamba Juices in Hawaii. And we were having coffee one morning. I told this story before. And we were having coffee one morning, right? And he showed me his laptop. And he showed me in real time how the money came in. And I'm not going to tell you how much money it was, but it was an astounding amount of money. And he just sits there with his laptop, and we're having coffee and we're talking. And so my question to him was, dude, what does success at that level feel like? And he was like, I don't know, man. I just go to work. That's exactly what he said. He didn't see what he was doing as being successful. And I learned this a long time ago, back in 2010. I did a Waikiki show here in Hawaii because we were doing everything in music we could. And the last thing that we didn't do was a Waikiki show, and that was the last step for us. And when I was doing my opening number and I went on stage, we had a capacity crowd, the biggest crowd that this Sheraton Hotel ever had over here in Hawaii. I'm in Hawaii. The room was packed. No other entertainer had that many people on an opening night. And I went up on the stage and I looked down on the audience and I was like, I thought I was gonna feel something. I thought I was gonna feel some level of success or whatever, right? No. I looked out over the audience and I go, oh, wow, this is like one big baby party. I had a wedding and party business. It's on Facebook if you want to take a look. We retired years ago. I retired back in 2019. But my point here in telling you this story is that ladder of success that you're imagining is imaginary. Okay? Because some people's version of success is being up in a log cabin all alone with nobody bothering them. That's success for them. So success is relative. Everything is relative. So it becomes what do you want? That's the question. What do you want? There's so many things that I wanted that I brought into my world by just writing it down. And then meditating on it. I used to meditate in the sauna, this club that I used to belong to. I used to meditate in the sauna, 45 minutes. And they used to tell me, oh, dude, that's kind of long to be in a sauna. It's pretty hot in there. But I went into my center. I went into my center in meditation. I wasn't just hanging out. I learned to do this a long time ago. And martial arts people do this all the time. It's not a special superpower or anything like that. But you can do it too. You just need to learn. I don't know who wants to learn that, but yeah, that was just me. So after a while, right, I would do this, and then when I go to the office, I was at the gym for 2 hours every morning from 5 to 7 every morning. And then I go into the office. I had this office in the small rural area. Now my office is in downtown. But I'd go to the office and something would be in the email, like a contract, like a meeting, like some kind of opportunity would come in the email. And I would go, wow, let's do that again. And every time I did that, it happened. Coincidence? No. Everything is connected. Everything. See, people don't understand that when they do something good in the morning, and then something good happens in the afternoon, they don't connect it. They think it's unrelated. When you help somebody, and a couple days later, something good comes, you don't make the connection. When you do something bad to somebody, and then loss happens, you don't make the connection. Vibrations are real. Now, what happens when you change vibration? Like, can I change vibration? Oh, sure, of course. Yeah. Changing your vibe or vibrations, right? Sometimes we call it a vibe. A higher vibration means that you do more positive things than negative things. Do you have to be 100% positive? No, that's impossible. Okay, so let's look at the 50 percentile over here. Okay, so the 50 percentile right here. Okay, now you got positive over here, you got negative over here. Okay, all you need to do is push that positive over the line 1%. Now, the majority of your life is positive. 1%. How hard is that? It's not very hard at all. Maybe you want to go 55. 55 is a lot. It's a chore. It begins to become a chore. But the good news is that chore becomes a habit. Is developing good habits hard? No. It's easy. It's the same as a bad habit. When I started doing my affirmations and stuff, right? I've been doing it since 2008. In 2008, I got my first brand new car. I broke the spell. Spell? What spell? Was it an evil spell? Well, kind of, sort of. It was a belief. Okay, because when I was young, I was always told to buy a good used car. There's only one problem with a good used car. They start rebuilding themselves after 60,000 miles. Then you need a new water pump, then you need a new radiator, then you need a new this, a new fan belt, and new, And after my transmission job on one car, I was like, I don't think so. So one day I didn't know what my credit score was. I didn't know anything. I just drove into the car dealership. And on signature, walked out with a $58,000 sports car. And I was like, whoa, And that's 2008 until today. Why? Because I made it a habit. It's a habit. It's in my subconscious as, okay, this is what we do. And this is what we pay. Now here's the good news, right? A lot of people have fear over this kind of thing. Okay? And they say, well, I don't have money for that. Watch what you say after the word I. Okay? It's almost like saying I am. I refers to your being. I don't have money for that. I don't make that kind of money. I don't have that kind of job. I don't have. And you pronounce it into your subconscious. And then you believe you don't have it. And you believe that you're not good enough. You believe that you cannot attain stuff. That's not true at all. Not true at all. I used to sleep on a sidewalk. I used to sleep on a sidewalk next to a Japanese theater in Chinatown. when I was 20 years old. Everything else from that day forward came from the sidewalk. And I had a good childhood. I had a really good childhood. I had a fantastic childhood. But then I slept on the sidewalk. Was I having fun? Yeah, I was having fun. It was an adventure. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Do I recommend it? Not in this day and age. No, I don't recommend it. And you don't have to go to that extreme. But if you do, just know that you can recover. Just know that you can rise up. Just know that you can make up your mind. That's all you need to do. Make up your mind. And then you write these things every day. Okay, so now we got to affirmations, meditation, vocalization. What about visualization? With visualization, you need to visualize a couple of things. You need to visualize yourself there. You need to consider yourself worthy. Okay, because poor people, okay, people with a poverty mindset, okay, Wallace D. Waddle said that poverty consists of feeling poor. Sorry, that was Ralph Waldo Emerson said that. He said poverty consists of feeling poor. Do you know that good language, do you know that good words actually empower people? Do you know that they carry vibrations that trigger your endorphins and certain hormones in your body that make you feel good? Dopamine, endorphins. Yeah, good words. Words like love. Words, kind words. Words of kindness. So guess what? Your subconscious is always listening. It's always listening. This is why when you speak against someone, it affects you, and you're not aware, right? And you speak against someone. So when you do that, because sometimes it's necessary, right? Sometimes it's necessary. If you're warning someone about, well, this guy's a bad guy or he did whatever, if you want to do that, all you have to do is counter it with something good at the end, because the last thing you say is the first thing your subconscious remembers. Like, oh, Bill, he's crazy, but he's been my friend for so many years. I love the guy. There you go. See, I used to be around people that used to do the opposite. They used to go, oh, Jim, oh, nice guy. And then they would unload all the dirt on him, that kind of thing. They would do the opposite. So it's kind of interesting. I never said anything. But this is how you clean up the mess. First, you need to clear the mess. Okay? There's always a mess here. The prison is here. And that's what holds you back. Okay? Your subconscious programs hold you back. And you can change it. It's easy to change. All you need to do is start writing, start meditating, start speaking about it, start visualizing. You have to visualize whatever it is you're writing about. In other words, daydream. Daydream. That's visualizing. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about how it's going to be. But stay away from saying things like, well, I'm going to be happy when I have a new house. I'm going to be happy when I have new shoes. I'm going to be happy when I have a new purse. Whatever it is. Okay? Because when you do that, you're saying, you're pushing your happiness off into the future. You have to be happy first. I know a lot of people that don't have anything. In fact, when I was engaged to my fiance, and we still talk about it, We still talk. We're not together anymore, but we still talk about it. And we go, you know what? When we didn't have anything, we were so happy. That was the happiest time of our lives when we had nothing. I only had a bus pass. I didn't even have a car. I didn't even have a driver's license. You know, I was engaged to one of the most beautiful women I ever saw at the time. And we had happiness. We were happy. There was no responsibility. We were catching the bus. We were walking. But we were happy. So be careful what you wish for. If you don't like responsibility, then don't build stuff. You know, if you like to be just carefree and whatever, maybe be a minimalist. You know, now people are becoming minimalists. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just saying, if you don't like the results of what you're getting, you can change it easily, very easily. It only takes 63 days. But there's a catch. You have to write it for 63 days. You have to speak it for 63 days. You have to meditate for 63 days. You can look this up. Go fact check me. When I built my third company, that was the consulting company, the third company. It actually changed from, we had a record company called Imua Records, and we did a few projects. Oh, actually, we did a lot of projects, and then we changed it, and we remodeled and revamped it, and you know, because of the modern age, because influencers and and the whole digital industry began to change. So we thought, well, we'll take the record company and we'll kind of tweak it, the production company. We were doing half consulting and half music kind of things, and we kind of split it up. We kind of morphed that into a consulting company, and then we built a record company, AFM Hawaii Music. If you want to look it up, it's a thing. There's albums on iTunes and all kinds of stuff. But when we started to do that with the production company, we changed it over into a consulting company. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I told a story the other day, and our first big client just popped out of my singing school. It just happened. So I'm here to tell you that God is real. But most people don't believe in God correctly. They don't think about God correctly. Whatever you call God. God is an energy. Everything in the universe is energy. But that energy, when you make a favorable impression on that energy, it returns to you in kind. What does that mean? That means if you're happy and you make an impression on that energy, it returns you happiness. If you do good stuff, it returns good stuff. If you push out anger towards it, it will give you bad stuff. Have you ever been on a negative roll? Okay, let me explain that real quick. Okay, you get up late, right? Alarm doesn't go off, and you get mad, and you're like, you're like that, right? Okay. Then what do? You start rushing. Okay, Rhonda Byrne says when you're rushing, you're not being grateful, right? Because you're taking everything for granted instead of enjoying everything, right? So you're rushing. So now you're rushing to get dressed. Now you rush into the bathroom, brush your teeth. You rush, you get dressed. You go in the kitchen. You spill something. Because you're rushing. Then you jump in the car and you hit all the red lights. you're on a negative spiral. Just know that it's all energy. It's all energetic. That's how it's happening. You're pushing forward negative energy, and it's being returned to you. And what's the natural inclination here? The natural inclination is, okay, let me push through this thing. I gotta get to work. I gotta get to work. Some people speed and then they get into an accident, or something else happens. What's the solution? When you start getting, and you have to be aware, but when you start that cycle, when you start that spiral, when the second thing goes wrong, stop. Just stop. Because you're going to stop the chain reaction. Everything is energy. I know it doesn't look like it because you can't see it. But everything in the universe is energy. And when you're on a negative roll, what happens? One thing after the other goes bad, goes wrong, goes wrong, goes wrong. If you're in the car, if you're at that point and you're getting all the red lights, pull over, find a parking lot, pull over, and sit down for 5 minutes and chill. Now what you're doing is you're allowing the vibration to dissipate. This is not a hypothesis. This is science. This is reality. Humans produce vibrations. Everything has a vibration. Even my pen, this has a vibration. This is vibrating right now. Doesn't look like it, right? But because we're all connected, because everything's connected, that's how you get these chain reactions. It's like throwing a pebble into the lake and then you see the ripples, right? It's like the boat on the lake and you see the wake. So when that happens, just allow 5 minutes. You're already late, it's okay. Take the 5 minutes, because otherwise more things will go wrong. This is not witchcraft, this is not mysticism, it's not any of that. This is vibration. This is the universal law of vibration. Okay, we've been talking a lot about universal laws because people need to be aware. Almost everybody I know has heard about the law of attraction. Law of attraction, like attracts like. It does. So if you're putting forth negative energy, what's going to happen? You're going to attract negative. You're putting forth positive energy, you're going to attract positive. Or let's say it another way, blessings. And remember that inspired action comes from the superconscious. Inspiration comes from God. However you believe, whoever you believe, whatever you believe, it's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. In my opinion, is God real? Of course, God is very real, very real. We are all tiny increments of that larger energy that we call God. And that's what connects everybody. You're not your body, you're not your name. You're that energy that lives in here. And out of 8 billion people on the planet, no two are the same. Coincidence? So remember, when things are going wrong, pause. Time out. Time out. When things are going wrong, don't push it into more wrong. Time out. Just wait. Be patient. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. The natural inclination is to push forward, keep going, keep going. If you're already late for work, 5 minutes is not going to hurt you. pull over, okay? Take a chill pill, relax for 5 minutes. And you're gonna notice that when you start going back again on your journey to work, you're gonna get more green lights, more good things are gonna happen, and you're gonna feel better. Because that negative spiral will have dissipated. And now you can bring positive things into your world and into your day. Okay, Jay is saying, see you tomorrow. You picked up a blue pen exactly like this? This is from Japan. Jay brought this for me from Japan. Ah, that's cool. Right on, Marley. I don't know what brand this pen is. I can't read the writing. It's kind of shiny, but that's cool. Nice to see you, Marley. Thank you. Yep, same time tomorrow, 7 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. Thank you on that platform, on this platform, that platform. So we're gonna let go of our international feed right now, and